Next up in the fighter profiles for the October Perth Corporate Rumble is Brandon Willington. We chat about his DJ career, growing up at Metro's Freo, the transition into his now booming business venture, and the lead into his boxing debut. Special thanks to Where You, major sponsor of today's guest, and as always, the PCR's major sponsors, Gobsmack Sports Mouthguards and Cablewise. So please welcome Brandon Kilco Willington.
Yep.
He was a really nice dude. Fuck that guy.
Jeez. Yeah, swearing's allowed, obviously. Any questions for me before we kick off?
Nah, I'm pretty
kicking
crazy.
off.
I went through some of the questions and, yeah.
It's just a general chit-chat. It's supposed to be about the PCR, and we seem to gloss over the PCR more than anything. Like, we just, we do a bit of that stuff. Yeah. It's more about you.
Okay.
So, I don't even know where we kick in. You sent me, I'll just get it up now, you've already got your walkout track.
Yeah, that was the first thing I did. I got the email, and then I opened Ableton Live, and then I made that. That
is there is some, I'm just going to play a bit.
That's the 6th version I've made.
Why is this thing not opening? Here we go. All right, I'm going to turn this up. The speakers on this computer's garbage, but we'll go into it. Now, I like the way this starts. I have listened to it. But where I'm really concerned is about probably, do you know what I'm concerned with?
Which part?
When when that bass kicks in.
Which bass? It's like 3.
Oh my God. Jesus. All right, let's see. We'll play a bit of this. Is this from The Purge?
Yeah.
All right.
Police, fire, and emergency medical services will be unavailable until tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. when the purge concludes. Blessed be our new founding fathers and America, a nation reborn. May God be with you all.
That bit there, I heard it and I just went, this is going to be too much for me. I do love it secretly. Only because it's happened to me once before. I think I was telling Rory the other day, a guy by the name of Gordy Monteleone came out and we were commentating, and he came out and I thought, this song's fine, and the bass kicked in, and I honestly thought, I didn't know I was having a stroke or what was going on. Everything on my table was shaking. It was, you can't, the fight is on YouTube, but it just doesn't do it justice. It was the loudest thing I've ever heard. And when this bit kicks in, I'm going to know.
Yeah, there's a very strategic reason why I've done this.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, so like sensory anchoring.
Yeah.
I'm going all out. There's like precisely 0 things left I can do to prepare for this fight. This is the last ditch effort right as I'm walking out. So sensory anchoring is when, like, you're actually talking about it with Rory. You know how you said if you smell certain smells, it puts you back in a certain
time machine.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So in that instance, your how do you pronounce it? Olfactory sense, like your sense of smell, actually forms the strongest neural sense. But you can also do it with music. That's why certain songs bring you back to certain memories. The 3 songs that are in this walkout music are the most commonly listened to songs when I'm just like on a pre-workout high.
Oh, yeah, nice.
And the most aggressive. and so I'm like, all right, this is the last thing you're listening to before you go into a fight. It has to be those 3 things. I was very tempted to make a joke one, but
that's good though.
And do the Wii Sports Nintendo Wii like theme song or something like that. But then I was like, okay, I like these 3 songs. So I just like found a way to mash them all together. And the Purge thing, because obviously my DJ name was Wilco. I know you talked about it with Rory. It made the most sense in the world for my nickname to be Kilco. And
Kilco. We're going to question 13 already. So Kilco, beautiful. I'm glad we're starting off this. This is getting me pumped. So we're starting with Kilco, and that is something else. How long is this track? 1:18.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, just dawdle. Yeah. Don't run to the ring. Don't do the old UFC Frankie Edgar style. Just take your time. So you've got it all timed. The guys from Brightside actually do a great job where they time it for curtains to open at an exact point.
Oh, sick.
So they're great. Good on you, Brightside. And so you'll be able to actually talk to them and say, all right, as soon as those curtains start to move, I want this bit to drop. They got it sorted.
Yeah, sick.
Nice. So you've just walked through. You've done the walkout in your head a million times.
I when I was putting this together, I looked up the fights on YouTube to time how many seconds it takes to get to different.
Oh yeah.
So,
Well, you get to walk out at about midday on the day.
Yeah.
You go through the whole thing with your music and everything.
Yeah, cool.
Which is great. Good idea. I think they've only done that the last one. Before you just got in the ring.
Yeah.
So people get out there and you got to get a feel for it because, I mean, you're used to performing in front of a lot of people, obviously, with your DJ work, but it is something different here.
yeah, that I was drunk, didn't remember it, and I was just in charge of what song plays. This is a little bit different. I'm sober and someone's trying to bash me. So
It's a touch
a little
different.
bit more anxious.
Then again, you were Metros free. I think Rory called you the Menace.
Yeah.
I thought that was going to be your nickname, like Ronnie the Menace Harvey last time.
Yeah, no, because Rory's a G. He what he said is 100% correct. He did take care of me for a very long time. Like, I would just, we'd play a game. This is when I was like, 21, 22, 23. So I'm just like, basically still a teenager, and I'm a fucking dickhead DJ that, like, you know, feeling on top of the world because you played all these people every night. You get all this alcohol, all this
on
stuff,
fire.
Yeah, fucking the top shit.
Unstoppable.
Yeah, like, anyway, so, or as a G, anyway, like, we'd play this game where I'd play the floor as lava, but the stage isn't. And so he'd just carry me from the main stage all the way up to C5 without touching the floor, and then just drop me at my next set.
He's a good man.
Yeah.
I like Roy. He's so calm. That's, in
Very
a way,
stoic.
that's what sort of, not worries me, but that's why I think, oh, geez, this guy's unpredictable.
Oh, man, you don't want to fuck around, Rory.
Oh, no, he's massive. Massive boy. Good guy, though. The fact that he manages to stay so calm as well, that's what gets me a bit.
Yeah, pretty chill.
Oh, mate, what do we go? We'll go, before we get into PCR, let's talk about you. You've done DJ work, obviously, heaps of it. We'll kick off with your socials. Now, before we do, I just want to put out, this is old man advice now, okay? Anyone with Instagram that's had it for quite a while, go back, because when I'm looking through people's Instagrams, I go back to the start and work my way back. Just go back to your old photos and have a look and see if they're still appropriate, because you've got some photos in here.
I'll leave them up.
So, I don't know, I'm going to kick off with this one. What have we got here? I don't even know. Who is this? Is this your love?
That's Katie, my girlfriend.
I was... when I got to this photo, lovely young lady, by the way. The choice of attire is... She's a confident young lady.
Well, it makes sense. She's a stripper, so
Okay,
that's
I
more
didn't-
clothes than usual.
Okay, I didn't realise that she did that for an occupation, so...
Well, that was a stripper awards night. I think you can see my Wilco logo. Yeah, bottom to the left of my right hand, you can see my logo there.
Oh, you can too.
Yeah, I was sponsoring it.
I tell you what was... Only because I saw the tone of your Instagram, could you imagine if the next one, you just reverse clothes?
I wouldn't look as good.
And you were brutal with her, because your profile picture...
That's my favourite photo.
That is not nice.
I cropped that into so many things.
Does she love that photo?
Yeah.
She does not like that photo. And what else have we got in here? Jesus. Bodybuilding. This is... You mentioned to me, and I did go through some of your photos here. Where is that one here? You used to be a big boy.
Yeah, I was fucking big. I was like, that's not even the biggest I was. Like, biggest I was probably like 30 kilos more fat than I'm carrying now.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah, I got close to 100 kilos and there was no muscle mass there, so it was all flubber.
So I think, does this go hand in hand with the party scene?
Oh, yeah, 100%. I was sponsored by an anti-hangover product for a couple of months.
Oh, did you give that thing an absolute hammering?
Oh, yeah. I was like, because I met the owner, I was like, bullshit. This doesn't work.
No
I
way.
tried it. This thing was the fountain of youth. I swear to God.
Is it legal?
Yeah, no, it's legal.
Still around?
Yeah. It's called Alcovir. I have no affiliation with them anymore.
No,
so
sure. You
my-
got your Alcovir t-shirt on. Here we go.
this is like 5 years ago. Anyway,
Use code Wilco for 10% off a chicken.
actually, that might still work. But anyway, there's other alternatives out there as well. Anyway, yeah, I was like their poster boy for a bit. I was in like all the ads because I'd like essentially more or less had an unlimited supply of alcohol. Like you have your rider, which is on stage, which I'd get like a bottle of vodka. Like the managers would just give me like a bottle of vodka, 12 double blacks, 6 Red Bulls, and a $250 bar card. The $250 bar card buys 22 and a half. I know that. Shots of tequila. I'd get them in cups, stack them up, and then put them on the DJ booth, and then every couple of minutes I'd just do a shot. And
You would drink that much every night?
not that whole thing, but I'm an only child, so I wasn't sharing either.
Oh, okay. You don't share. You're a generous man. You're giving us these unstoppable beats. There's no need to give us alcohol as well.
But yeah, so I'd get through like most of that, and then obviously when you're hungover, you're not exercising, so your active calories is all the way down, and you're eating garbage Uber Eats food. And then I went to the US for 2 weeks for like one show, and then like their food's really good, so I had a bunch.
Great,
of that.
isn't it?
That was like by far the like biggest I was, and then I had to undo all of that. You know, it takes ages, especially when you're out till 3 or 4 or the next day AM, you know, drinking, and then you got kick-ons, then you're hungover and you can't exercise. And even if you do exercise the next day, alcohol blocks your fat receptors or whatever it is, so even anything you do doesn't even work.
No.
Yeah, the two go hand in hand. There's a couple of exceptions of, you know, people that work in nightlife that aren't big, but they also don't have a drinking problem, so that makes perfect sense. Yeah, when you're really like spoilt for it, like the bar card had a limit of 250, but if it ran out, it just asked nicely.
Didn't I see you had a bill of like $9,000 or something?
Oh, that's like the smallest one. Like one of my bar cards racked up across my career like $45,000.
Jesus.
And that was just that card. Like, if that ran out on a night, we just made another one.
Tell me how. Let's step back. Let's step back here a number. How old are you now?
I'm 27.
27, young'un. Body still works, unlike me. Let's step back, say 9-10 years here to your start, your Instagram. No, what? Because it's the dream of every, I think, up and comer, as in like mid-teens to late teens, is to be a DJ.
Yeah.
You just want to be the party man.
Yeah.
How did you manage to get into this? Because a lot of people will do it. A lot of people say, I'll do it. And you see them at a party absolutely butchering the music. How did you get into this scene?
Well, it's just networking. Like, each person you meet is like another contact, and that person knows another person, that person knows another person, that person knows another person. Then you kind of build up that network. And my kind of strength was because I get asked by like because I haven't DJed in like 3 years. I get asked by like up and coming DJs like, why don't I get booked? Like, I'm a really good DJ, and it could be true. That could be a really great DJ, but the fact of the matter is that like you book people that are in the cross section of the Venn diagram, which is they're a good DJ and I want to hang out with them. And I was kind of fun enough that more often than not at the start, at the end I was very unfun to be around. But at the start, I was a good DJ, and people liked to party with me. And so when they go like, "Who are we booking tonight?" they'd just lean towards me. There were countless messages I got where they're like, "Yeah, like you're really fucking fun. Do you want to play this week? Do you want to play every week?" And that's really where all that comes from, because you could be like the best DJ on earth, but if people just don't want to party with you, the event that they're selling is a party, and so you've got to fit into that product, right? And so that was really the big strength of. I was an okay DJ. I was pretty good. Better than average, not incredible. There's obviously plenty more talented DJs than there were at my time, even obviously now as I don't DJ anymore. But a lot of them just didn't have that kind of networking skill, which is, you know, an unfortunate truth, but you kind of just got to accept reality and deal with it, right?
You do. That makes sense. Because you're right, there are a lot of, not just in DJing, but in every kind of job, even singers.
Yep.
You know, the singers that are popular, they're not the best singers, but they've got something. People like them.
Yeah. And some of it's like crowd presence as well.
Yeah.
Sorry, not crowd presence, stage presence as well. Like I was fun to watch. Because I was
with 22 tequilas under your belt, mate, you would have been a barrel laugh.
Yeah, I was fun fucking jumping around, talk shit on the mic, all this stuff. You could say it's obnoxious, and a bunch of people would say, and even if I was watching myself now, I'd be like, this is the most fucking obnoxious cunt on earth. But you grow up eventually, for the most part. But yeah, people look for that kind of. A lot of people look for that stage presence as well. There's obviously there's obviously also people that are like just there for the music and they're not there to listen to some dickhead on the microphone or anything like that. Perfectly fine. I understand. I'm like that now too. But yeah,
I see how DJs can control a crowd.
Yeah,
I never realised it till someone did explain it to me once. It was many years ago. He just said, "Watch this," and he showed us you can take him up, you can take him down.
Yep.
He can. Yeah, it's really a gift, isn't it? To be able to do it, to be able to read a crowd that well.
Yeah, you get good at it, and then you can time things well, and you know how they react to things. But then there's also the contrast too, which is like you go from the ego of 1,500 people. I pick what you listen to next. I pick how you feel. I pick what you say. I know when you say it, and you go from that level of control, which almost feels like a god, basically, for like 4 hours, and then you get in the back of an Uber, you drive home, it's dead silent, and no one's paying attention to you anymore. And so there's that contrast between you walk off stage and you're in the back of an Uber and you listen to 96 FM. And you're stuck at a red light. Things like that. So there's that weird contrast as well.
What is the DJ life like? Because going through your socials, it is a party 24/7. A lot of young ladies just hanging around you the whole time. It seems like everyone's dream because it is a party. It is pretty much as pure Instagram is your life.
Yeah.
What is the life actually like?
It depends what you like. So I'm very... I have a proclivity to make more impulsive emotional decisions, so that's why I like drinking a lot and partying a lot and girls and things like that. If you're a more logical person, which is technically more often than not the more like technical DJs that really consider it like an art form and not like an attention-seeking thing, which for me was an attention-seeking thing. I like the art form as well, but there was a balance of both. If you're more on the kind of like emotional side, which is most artists, to be honest, you're in a you're pretty much set up for failure because you're in an environment where the likelihood and the opportunity to just make impulsive emotional decisions and drink a lot and party a lot, it's just the easiest possible option. Actually not doing that is remarkably hard. You're not set up for success in that sense. And so the easiest thing to do is just drink a lot and party a lot, put on a lot of weight, hang out with a bunch of girls, hang out with a bunch of bad people, do a bunch of bad things because it's the easiest option. There's the lowest resistance to do that. But then there's also like the dark side of that, which is like if you keep doing that for too long, then there's like a tax and a debt you had to pay with a compounding interest, which is you got all this weight to lose, you've hung out with all the wrong people, there's all these like bad elements to it as well, right? So on Instagram and stuff, it looks like fun, and I'd say that by far I'm monumentally happier now not being in that space, just mentally, physically, like every single possible aspect you can think of than I was then. It's just because in that moment, it's like, yeah, you're great, but it's also feel like you're drinking and you set the bar like too high every single time, right? So it's essentially like there's a couple different bars, right? So the bar gets raised every single time that at the start of my DJ career, I'd be over the moon playing to a empty bar and the staff were there. I was just happy to do my thing. And then I'd play in front of like 1,000 people for 5 hours, like main stage at Metro's Frio every Saturday night for 2 years. I hated it. I'm like, there's only 1,000 people here. This is a fucking waste of my time and things like that. Because the bar just keeps getting raised, right? And it's essentially like progressive overload. The other thing as well is there's like progressive overload in rats where like you can feed a rat a non-lethal dose of poison, and then you can keep increasing it until the rat can eat what would have originally been a lethal dose of rat poison. And you drink more and you do more and things like that. And I eventually just became this fucking rat that you couldn't kill because I've had all the poison. You couldn't kill me anymore. And so all these bars are getting raised and then you don't really enjoy anything anymore because the contrast between where you're at when you're like partying really hard and then just like sitting on a couch from the back of an Uber, but the contrast is just, it's too fucking high. It's just like, you had to keep raising the bar every single time. So there's that side to it as well.
That makes sense. It must be hard, like not just obviously with DJing, but that must be what a lot of these, I guess, one-hit wonders go through.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So many jobs where this would happen. What about footy players that play for one season, play the MCG, and then turn around and go, no, I'm just playing for Armadale seconds now or something like that.
Yeah.
Nothing against Armadale seconds, by the way. I know there's a lot of Armadale people.
Yeah, there's like that happened with me. Like I've told this story a billion fucking times, so I don't want to rant about it. But like
Rant about it, mate.
I had this mixtape called Literally Fuck Genres that like went viral. It was on like every single like EDM media publication, did like 2 tours of Australia for all this stuff. It was like a big thing. I still get talked to about it to this day, and it was really like a one-hit wonder thing. And so after that I was like, holy fuck, what am I meant to do after this? Like this is the thing. And then it was all kind of just like that really like was the peak. And then everything after that I'm like, well, how am I meant to beat that, right? And then there's this book called my PT told me about it. I can't remember what it's called. But there's this book where it basically talks about how you go through like seasons of life, and artists in particular, they'll have like the 18 to let's say like 24, 25, 26 season where they'll peak somewhere around there. But then after that, their life, it's kind of like that they already peaked and they're already trying to chase that peak again, but they can't get there. And sometimes people can't transition to something else because their identity is already tied to something else. And so I've had that as well, where like my fucking Instagram username's still Wilco. Like it's still in there, right? I haven't DJed in like 3 years. Wilco only child, right? And so there's still that, and I was journaling about this the other day, where there's that weird, I was still Wilco from 18 to 24 or 25, which is like 25% of the days that I've been alive was that thing, right? And so if you try transition like after that, there's still that bit there where you're like, it's still kind of there, even though I don't really like it. I don't want to be that person. Because so much of your identity from like 18 to 25 was just this thing. It's like really hard and weird to let go of and like transition out of it, because I don't do any of that shit anymore, at least not to the volume that I did at that point in time. There's that weird like identity crisis. It's like a quarter life identity crisis essentially. Yeah, it's really interesting how it kind of works. I think about it all the time.
You just mentioned there the quarter life crisis. No, that's a very like a good, not a good thing, but it's something I see a lot of, and I don't think people have ever been able to really understand it or work out how to avoid it, because it happens to virtually, everyone at some point, because they've had their party, they've had their party time, they're settling down, they're transitioning life, their body doesn't do what it used to do.
Yeah.
But how would you prepare? Like, what could someone have said to you at, say, 18 to sort of protect you from the next 5-6 years?
That's a good question. I actually don't.
Full of good questions, mate.
I wouldn't.
No, listen.
I wouldn't. I don't think I'd tell me anything. I think I liked figuring it out for myself, because I think if I told myself something, then I'd do some stuff just to like protect me, or you wouldn't learn the hard way either, right? No. So it's like boxing, right? You get told to keep your chin up, but until someone fucking punches you in the jaw, you're like...
You got a beauty the other week, didn't you?
Yeah, I got fucking knocked in the
no.
Yeah, perfect. I learnt, don't put your head down, Brandon. That's never happening again.
Big punches being thrown at training at the moment.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus.
But... yeah, I don't think I'd tell myself anything, because I think that level of protection, you don't learn anything from that. And so... like a lot of my motivation now, I use the analogy that people are a lot like mice. So there's bits of cheese out there that they're absolutely chasing. They're out there somewhere. You'll figure it out. But there's definitely like a cat behind them as well. And the cat's closer and more terrifying. And so they have these bits of cheese that they're chasing towards. They've got to figure out how to find it. But there's absolutely like a cat behind them as well. And the cat's more realistic. And the cat could be like, I don't know, I always tell the story of like before I was a DJ, I was a waiter and I hated that job. And then I quit that, but DJing wasn't making enough money. So I had to make it work. Otherwise I had to go back to a job that I hate, right? But then for some people, personal development can be like, all right, I know what Brandon was like from ages 21 to 23. That's very real because I've done that before. Let's not do that. That's the wrong direction. Let's sprint this way instead, right? And then you have that kind of... because if I didn't go through that, then I wouldn't be doing all the shit that I'm doing now. Fucking trying to... boxing. I don't even like boxing. I want to be very clear. I don't enjoy it. I'm doing it because it's very uncomfortable. I've done it in the past. Didn't really like it now. Didn't like it then. Didn't really like it now. But I'm doing it. That's not to reflect poorly on like PCR. I actually really like everyone that I'm hanging out with. And I don't like group classes either. So there's two things that I'm not enjoying, right? But it's necessary to just like do that next thing, which is like really uncomfortable, because you don't learn anything about yourself when you just do something you're always comfortable with, right? I have this example of like at the start, like the training I'm going through now, 3-4 years ago, I hated going to the gym and doing weights. Didn't like it. Now I really like it. Now I don't like boxing though. And so it's interesting seeing where I want to go to train, because I want to go train at the gym where I'm comfortable. I should go for a run though. I don't like running. I'm very bad at it. I get really terrible shin splints. I was fucked the other night, right? But people always go to where they're like comfortable, but you don't learn anything there.
It's the easiest thing to do, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the easiest thing to do. This happened last week as well, where like I had the flu last week, and so I was trying to learn other shit that was non-physical, and so I started to learn like the neuroscience of setting goals and focus and all this stuff, right? Because my brain is comfortable going to intellect, because I like reading and I like researching. I'm comfortable going to intellect. I should have gone for a run. And so I was texting my friend, and I was telling him all these like sensory anchoring methods. I'm like, can we try this? Can we do this? Blah, 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 blah. And he's like, have you gone for a run yet? I was like, no. He's like, go do that. We'll talk about the other stuff later. And I was like, fuck, okay.
How'd you go after the run?
I completely overcorrected. He said, well, I don't really do things in halves. So I did hill sprints for like half an hour. I had shin splints after 5 minutes, and then I kept going anyway, and then I hobbled and limped back home. I have terrible shin splints. Like, I've always been really bad at running. Had an ice bath and compression therapy, and then I wake up the next morning. I was like, no, stick to the plan. I really wanted to run. I wanted to get better at this thing because I suck at it. And then I ran like 100 meters, and then I like fucked my legs, and then I was like, I was terrible. Yeah,
time to rest.
But directionally accurate, not absolutely though. But yeah, it's interesting where the mind goes, because it will go to where it's comfortable, where it knows it's safe. Like, go do squats or barbell presses. Don't worry about cardio. That's fine. Or you don't need to worry about going for a run. Just learn about like the neuroscience of focus and stuff like that, because your body, you're comfortable going there, but then you don't learn anything, right?
Have you ever worked with phobias or anything?
Phobias? No, I don't think I have any phobias.
Because they say that with phobias, isn't it? You just repeatedly do that thing that you're scared of, and you get better at it, or you get used to it. That's
exactly it. Like for me, I kind of gamify the whole, like, I hate the phrase personal development, because I think it's kind of cringe because it gets overused a lot, right? But once you get like a couple wins on the board, it becomes really fun, because you get a feedback loop, right? So it's like if you lose weight and you see the scales go down, that's a feedback loop that's like, oh, cool. I did that last week, and then this happened this week. I can figure that out. And then after you do like a couple of things, it just becomes like the world's your oyster. It's just like I suck at chess. And so I'm like, okay, let's get a chess coach. Got a chess coach. Score goes up. I'm like, oh, cool. Play my friend who I've never beaten before, and it's a pretty even match. He's like, yeah, you're getting better. Cool. And then you can just do all these things. And so it's just like, you just had to like embrace being a beginner, and just like, all right, you have to suck now because it's the start. By definition, being a beginner, this has to be the worst that you ever are. So the good news is it's all uphill from here, right? That's great. And so as soon as you get like a couple of like runs on the board, like I did the bodybuilding thing like before, and then like business and all this other stuff, you go, the world's kind of your oyster if you just go out and try and figure shit out, or you talk to someone that's already done it and they just tell you the answer, right? It becomes really like fun and interesting then you just keep getting all these little wins and runs on the board.
It can be addictive as well, can't it?
Totally. Yeah, I sometimes overcommit to stuff. Like I literally have a chess coach. It's a guy.
Chess coach?
Yeah.
What's his name? Give him a shout out.
Nazar, he's in France. But we hop on Zoom and he like reviews all my chess games. But I texted him the other day because my calendar's full, and I do a lot of courses and coaching programs and stuff like that. And so I'm really running out of white space on my calendar. Texted him the other day. I'm like, hey man, I got a boxing fight in 6 weeks. Can we just like put this off for a bit? Because like my body's in fight or flight at work. My body's in fight or flight at boxing. And now there's fucking board games pissing me off as well. I'm like, can I just like meditate or something else instead? But yeah, it becomes super addictive because now I'm just like, what else do I want to do? Like, fuck it, I'll learn French and talk to Nazar in his own language or something like that.
It's great that you've got that awareness, because a lot of people, I think, would reach that peak and then try to just keep chasing it and not have the awareness to realise that isn't the right way.
Yeah.
You know, covering stuff up with whether it be women or alcohol or drugs or whatever it is. But just to have that awareness is great.
Yeah. One of my strengths, definitely, my friends agree, is just self-awareness. Like I know all the things I'm good at and all the things I'm bad at. Like that, like most people don't really like sit down and actually, like journaling's great. I do it fucking loads. Most people just don't sit down and like think about not only like who are they, but even like what do they want to do in life. And so I talk to some friends sometimes, and I run for like an exercise, and I'm like, what do you want to do though? They're like, and they had to think about it. I'm like, have you ever like sat down? Because most people like, it's kind of like, it reminds me of when people go from high school and then they just go to uni because that's the thing they're meant to do. And when they don't know, they just do commerce, right? And they just do the thing because, oh, everyone else is doing it. And they're kind of just like floating by, but they never like sit down for like even 5 minutes and go, what do I actually want to do? And then what do I need to do? Like, what happens before that? And what happens before that? And what happens before that? And just like write down a plan on a page. Like, what do you want to do? It's just like most people just don't sit down and do that because they just float around based on all the like sensory activation they get from other people just saying stuff around them, right? And then sometimes they build beliefs that they don't even believe in.
Do you think it's a self-protection thing?
Yeah, exactly. It's like that, or like, oh, like limiting beliefs. I'm really good at spotting limiting beliefs. I catch them in my friends as well.
What is that? Say that again.
A limiting belief.
Okay.
So it's like,
tell me what a limiting belief is.
So it's like just a thing that you believe which doesn't serve you, right? So for example, it would be very easy for me to say, Brandon, you're just meant to be overweight because all the males in your family have been overweight. It's just genetic.
Is that when people blame fate, I guess?
Yeah. They'll float through life and things will happen to them and they'll just call it fate.
Such a cop-out.
Yeah. It's just, and so you can spot them. So like easy cop-out for me, or a limiting belief would be like, Brandon, you're just meant to be overweight because like your dad was overweight, uncle was overweight, all the males in your family have been overweight. But that doesn't serve you, right? Like you can't do anything about that. Whereas like more empowering...
It's an excuse though.
Exactly. You can say it's an excuse. Whereas a more like empowering belief would be like, all right, well, you can create your own energy and go to the gym. You've done this before. And so you can like take responsibility for that as well. Because when you pass blame, you lose all of your power.
Oh, mate, I'm 100% with you then.
Yeah.
This all came to me a few years back about accountability and taking control, that everything that happens to you is a result of your actions.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's just all the control comes back to you.
Yeah, exactly. Because then there's something you can do. But if you just blame someone or something else, well, what can you do? Now you're stuck in. Nothing you can do.
Still get mad though?
About like...
Just people? 'Cause people still piss me off.
Still humans, still have like emotions and things like that. That's perfectly normal. But yeah, that's my big thing is I'll try and spot those in like my own language. That your words are very important because they reflect whatever it is you're thinking. I'll try and spot them, like things that I'll say. I'm like, all right, I'm working on that one this week. That one's fucked next week. That's not going to be there anymore. And try and like pick those off, and then it just becomes a game because you're just building your own character and things like that. It's really fun.
How would you? Firstly, I'll talk about this, and I'll jump back to the DJ.
Sure.
How would you invite someone to start being accountable for their actions?
Well, firstly, it starts with like consciousness, so you had to be aware of it.
But if they're not, and they think that you're just having a go at them,
yeah, okay. Well, for them themselves,
my kids,
for them themselves, it becomes like awareness.
Yeah.
And so that's why I like journaling a lot because you got to write it down, and then it's on paper in front of you, and it's no longer just a feeling or a thought. It's a thing that you're looking at. And so that kind of takes it out of your own head and makes it physical or visual in this instance. But there's also the physical action of writing it. And then you can look at it without the perception that like this is just me and my thoughts. It's written down on a page. That would be the first thing. And then I'd ask yourself, like, does this serve you or work against you? So does thinking in this way benefit you? Or like, and the benefit can't be I feel better because it's not my fault. Or... is there another way of thinking about this that serves you better? And then if you thought in that way, then what would happen? And it's very simple. It's just following that train of thought. It's just, does this thought help me or work against me? Or works against me? Okay. Is there another way we can think about this situation or thing that happened to me which would actually benefit me? Okay. Yes. Okay, cool. Then write that down.
But listen, I completely agree with you. But that, once again, you're going to be met with the resistance from someone who doesn't want to put in the effort to do that because it's so much easier just to go, nah, that's just how things are.
That's where the cat comes in, right?
That damn cat.
So sometimes people... there's conversations only come up like 2 or 3 times with some friends, but they'll be like, I just don't feel motivated or I can't do this. I was like, well, maybe you haven't hit rock bottom yet. Maybe you don't know what the cat is yet. But you're still like, you're not super motivated because you haven't hit the goal, but it hasn't fucked up your life and been like, holy shit, that can never happen again. You haven't really like learnt a lesson yet.
Have you hit rock bottom?
I would say rock bottom. Like you had to
Close.
Yeah, like I'm definitely 10 times a better person and man and more honest and healthy in every single aspect now than at 27 than I was like 21, 22. You'd ask any of my friends, they're like, yeah, you're pretty off the fucking rails. But like I know what that's like, and I've gotten close enough, even if I haven't hit rock bottom, I've gotten close enough that I know if I keep heading in this direction where it's going, right? But most people, they haven't gotten scared enough yet. Sometimes you need fear. I like cortisol. Cortisol drives action, right? So it's like if you look at like a lion, it doesn't matter which direction you run it, as long as it's like towards the line, you're running fucking somewhere. You're moving regardless, just not that way. You're just going the other way. So sometimes people just need to be clearer on what the lion or the cat or however big the fucking cat is, and get more clear about that. That's where like journaling can come in as well. Like, what happens if I keep doing this? Then what happens? Then what happens? Then what happens? Then what happens to your friends? How much money do you make? Like, how unhealthy are you? Then what happens? And just like write all of that down, and that can help like work as a useful like visualization like exercise. But okay, that none of that sounds very good at all. So if we just use inverse thinking, let's go in the other direction, right?
Yeah, that makes sense. It's just the awareness. Comes down to awareness.
Yeah, most people float through life without any awareness, right?
Yeah, they do. Because it's so much easier.
Yeah.
What is it? Water. People like water.
Yeah.
Isn't it path of least resistance?
Yeah,
It's
there was
just the
like path
easiest
of
way.
least resistance, or just like, what's everyone else doing? Okay, that must be safe. They think the same thing, though. You're all fucked. It's the blind leading the blind.
Some of the leadership we got out here, it's questionable.
Yeah.
What advice? Because obviously with the changes in say technology, this is just stepping back a little bit here. Changes in technology, the DJ equipment. I was down at Manny's, major sponsor Manny's. No, use promo code Brad for 10%. No, they're not. They're not. Imagine if they were. Imagine the quote we have. Jesus. What advice would you give to someone who's looking to get into the DJ game? Just say I was some 16-year-old sitting here saying, "Listen, mate, I've just see what." Do you see my mouse pad? I got that out for you today. I know. If someone said, "Listen, I got a set of decks. I'm going to be the next Fat Boy Slim or Chemical Brother." I'm not too sure about DJs. What would you tell them?
I wouldn't go down like the technical route of this is how you DJ or anything like that. You can figure that out for yourself on YouTube, right? Count to four times, press play, right? What I would say is just be careful who you hang out with. Like, I've lost plenty of friends. I've had friends go to fucking prison. I've had, friends that were just like complete arseholes to my friends. Just be careful who you hang out with. It's that, everyone says like you're the result of the 5 people you hang out with the most. And they go, yeah, that's probably true, but they don't really like actually do anything about that, right? And especially when you're young, there will be people that like take advantage of you because, and not pay you well or things like that. I had that as well. And so eventually, the other thing as well is you won't know it until other people tell you if someone's, a bad person or anything like that. I like the saying that, what is it? Propaganda works on you as well, right? And so, like, we always just talk about, like, propaganda in, I don't know, like North Korea or all the enemy states, right? Yeah. There's propaganda here too. You just don't know it's working on you. That's why it works on them as well. And so it's kind of similar when you're, like, in a group of people. All the things you hear from them, it works on you as well, right? And so sometimes you need someone outside of your network to be like, Brandon, why the fuck are you hanging out with these people? Right? And so you need all that different perspective, right? That's probably the best bit of advice I'd give is just make sure who you hang out with. Because I had people that were terrible influences on me, but I had people that were really, really good influences on me as well. And those are the ones that stuck around, that lasted the longest, that I'm still friends with now. The ones that are terrible influences, you gotta cut them off real quick. Get used to it.
They're usually the fun ones.
Yeah, they're the fun ones. That's why you hang out with them.
There's fun people.
Yeah.
How much of it have you found just in life? Because you sound well beyond your 27 years here. What's your opinion on money? The importance of money and what it does.
Well, one of the first guiding principle in our life is accept reality and deal with it. And the reality is, if we live in a capitalistic society, and if you want to live comfortably in this society, that means you had to be good at capitalism, right? Which means you had to create value in the market. I don't think money creates happiness, but I think it can buy away the things that give you sadness or make you uncomfortable, right?
That's a good way to put it. That's very good. I'm going to write that down, claim as my own copyright.
Yeah, there's nothing I can buy that will make me, per se, happier intrinsically in the long term. You get that dopamine hit when you first purchase it, right? But that's short-lived. But it can buy away things that make you uncomfortable. So if you're constantly stressed about making rent, how could you possibly be happy? But if you don't have to worry about that, that's just like one thing less off of your plate, right? The other thing as well is it's mostly not real. It's like, if I've talked about this before, and I can't remember the statistic, and I'm going to get it wrong, but because of the way the banking system works, they can like loan and reloan and loan and reloan money like 7 times.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like I think it's out of all the value that there is in the world banked on numbers on screens, only like a fraction of it actually physically exists.
It's real.
We mostly all just made it up and agreed on it, right? But that doesn't mean that the actual impacts of it aren't real, but people attach too much value to it when really the value is just we all just made it up and agreed on it. So me and you, we agreed if I give you this pink note, whatever $5 is, I just gave that to you. Right? But if you take that and you go into like the Amazon or something like that and you give them to that, they probably use it for fucking firewood or something like that, right? But yeah, in the sense of money, like I like making it in the sense that it's the result of getting better at the craft of business, or you're just going to say capitalism, which is the same thing. It's essentially just like a scoreboard, right? This is like, how good are you at creating value in the marketplace and solving other people's problems? People always give shit to billionaires and stuff like that, and then they post about it on their iPhones, right? It's just like, they wouldn't have all these billions of dollars if they didn't create value in the marketplace. And that's not to say that some of them don't do terrible things and abuse the environment and things like that, but across the board, like Amazon's Jeff Bezos is a billionaire because he made it fucking really easy for you to buy anything you want and it be delivered this afternoon, right? And I think people attach too much like emotional investment to money. And I understand, I'm looping back to the thing that people think billionaires are terrible, and some of them probably are, but the money that they created was because of the value that they created in the marketplace. They wouldn't have all this money if they didn't solve all these problems for people, right?
Yeah. And with the ability, when you're talking about those dopamine hits, with the ability to buy whatever you want now on credit for the money you don't have. Yep. When you talked about debt, I think I read something the same. I think they said the world is like $13 trillion in debt.
Yep.
And we go to who?
Yep.
So the moon or something?
Yeah, exactly. It's made up. We all just agreed on it.
But the fact, people like those billionaires, like Bezos and Elon Musk and Zuckerberg, the fact that they're still working hard for something, I suppose it just proves that it's never enough. Yeah,
they could. Yeah, the money isn't the scoreboard. Like if money was what is the scoreboard, but it's not really the motivator. All these billionaires, they could fuck off on their yachts and disappear and never talk
that'd be me.
With their supercars. Gone. Why is he still working 17 hours a day? He doesn't need to do that. There's something there. It's like I've used this analogy before. It's like Minecraft. You talked about Minecraft with Rory, right?
Yeah, I play a little bit of Minecraft.
So you know when you play survival mode, you start with nothing. And then you had to punch trees to get wood, and you turn that wood into sticks, and you build your shitty little hut out of dirt, right? But then you upgrade things. You go into caves, and you go harder, and then you had to battle, and you have all this friction, right? But if you go back to the main menu, and you start a new world in creator mode, you're a god. You can fly. You have every single resource unlimited, which is essentially a billionaire. Yeah. But you get bored of creative mode after like 3 minutes. It's too easy, right? And so they still need to do that work. That's the money is just the scoreboard, but the reward's really just the thing that they get to do. They could do anything they want. They're in God mode. They're in creative mode. But why are they still working? That's the point.
I could see them being unhappy though, because they would look, if you did have $1 billion. Personally, I've already picked out my castle on this isolated island.
Yeah, I want a castle as well with a moat. and no one's allowed in.
Serious?
Yeah.
Have you been on to castlelist.eu?
Oh no, I'm going to try and find that now.
Oh yeah, let's do that.
I was looking. I was thinking about looking at castles. That's a big goal of mine. Is a castle in a Batman cave.
I can't remember who I was talking to last PCR. They were not interested. I was. You can castlelist.com. There we go, everyone. Don't jump on the castle. This is all the castles through Europe.
Yes.
They're glorious. There's one I still can't find it. I bet you it's sold because it was high. There it is. Moat. Oh. Yeah, moat. Mate, tell me, this is it, okay? Look at the moat.
Yeah, that's fucking
one had a double moat.
Ooh.
I couldn't believe it. Double moat.
Yeah.
Now, this is the point I'm trying to make. Can't believe we're going on to castles here. I'm glad we did. This is my world here. Okay, castle. Everyone I said, I want to live in a castle. Me and my wife and my kids, just us in there. I got a lovely wife. I got 2 great kids. Okay, this castle here that we're looking at, this is in France. Okay, glorious it is. Yeah. The price of it. Where the hell is the price of this thing?
Underneath the picture.
Underneath the picture. Okay. That there is euro, so 2.9 million euro. Okay,
is that 5 mil?
That's about 6 mil, yeah. Right? You look honestly in Perth, $6 million might get you like even just like a glorious house in Mount Lawley or something in Peppermint Grove or something, which is nice. Yeah. But you're in Perth.
Yeah, it's not a castle.
Look at this castle.
I want to do archery in my front backyard.
Oh,
and you're stuck in traffic in Scarborough.
But some of these are cheap, mate.
Yeah.
Oh, you need those. What are those ones called? Look at that one. That one is glorious.
Sick. I need roaming guards with like.
Oh yeah,
guns.
archers. Yeah, archers up there. A drawbridge.
Yep. Oh yeah. He fills up by drawbridge.
We can, mate. I can't believe you got me started on castles. Oh yeah, everyone that talks to me knows. Everyone I work with is sick to death of my castle talk. I swear. Well, we're going to Europe in November. I swear I'm secretly on the castle hunt. So any real estate agents out there, hit me up. I don't even know where we're going with this. All right. We were talking about billionaires. Jeff Bezos, major sponsor. Sorry. Gobsmack Sports Mouthguards. Jade and Rob, major sponsor, along with the cable wires. They have lost. If you become a billionaire, I believe you lose those small wins.
Oh, yeah.
Because think about us, right? Just say we went down to the shops and bought, what are they called? Scratch and wins, whatever those things are called. Just say we went there and went, oh, yeah, I'll drop a 5. Terrible investment. I'll drop a 5. And you win $500.
Yeah.
Now, that is party time.
Yeah.
That's $500.
Yeah.
Think about what a billionaire would have to do it's like finding something in a second-hand store. You go, geez, this... See that MTV man over there? That's worth about $80. So you walk in there and you go, oh, here's this for $1 and I've made $75. And that to me is like, that's a massive win. That's glorious. Yeah. Imagine what these guys would have to do. Yeah. Would it be a power thing? Because money's not involved. Would they say, I now own... Yeah. I don't know, this shopping centre or something.
I've thought about this a lot too because there's a point, I don't know where it is, and obviously I'm probably never going to get there, but maybe that's a limiting belief. But there's a point where money just becomes useless, like there's nothing left you can buy. And so my theory is the thing is just power.
Power.
This is power. It's just like, I know I can buy and sell that company, I can put in my own executive board, I can take over this. That's all it is. There's a point where there's just... It's like the end of Grand Theft Auto, where you do the last big heist and you've got like what $200 million sitting in your bank.
I still haven't got to the end of Grand Theft Auto. Oh, really? See the poster?
Yeah.
Right there, nice, beautiful.
But like when you get to the end, there's nothing left you can buy. You've got the apartment, you've got all the supercars, you've got them all maxed out on specs. There's nothing left you can do. It's like there's nothing left you can buy, and so the only thing left to do is just like roam around and try and shoot shit. But like for them, it just like in the real world, it just must be power. It's just like I know I can yield this money to just influence a fucking election.
Yeah,
or just anything.
But what it must be, they must be miserable. Well, not all of them, but there must be some out there that are just like, there's nothing that gives me that dopamine hit.
Yeah,
the simplest things.
Yeah, nothing material could make them happy anymore. That's why it gets more and more like hedonistic theoretically anyway.
And then all the people hanging around you don't know whether they're really your mates.
Yeah, they don't know
or
if
they're
you're
just
mates, or they're trying to fucking get dinner free.
Oh, could you imagine the people that would be trying to be mates with you?
Yeah.
Could you imagine?
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to know who's legit or not. You'd never make another real friend in your life.
No.
The ones that you started with, they're there. They're the only ones you can trust. Maybe. But yeah.
But a lot of these guys, they get divorced. They get to the top and then they get divorced.
Yeah.
And you go, listen, your new missus, she may be attractive, she may look the part, she may be 18, questionable, but you can't. You are delusional to think that this is real. This can beat the lady that was with you when you were just garbage.
Yeah. All the perspectives just go out. Like the further up the bell curve you go, this is the interesting thing.
Tell me an interesting thing.
I was thinking about this like a lot, but like everyone exists. Doesn't matter what statistic or what characteristic you're measuring someone on. Everyone sits on a evenly distributed bell curve. So by definition, most people are average. Also by definition, most half people, are below average. And so as you travel further up the bell curve, there are just less and less people like you. And so there are less people you can talk to about experiences you've had or things you do or plans that you have, right? And so you have less correlation with the sample size of people you go in. Because you'll still hang around the same number of people, but out of the total population of people you hang out with, less and less of them have done or achieved or experienced the same things you have. So you can't draw this like rapport with other people. And so that's why they just feel more and more distant and isolated from everyone else, because they're just traveling up this bell curve on whatever statistic it is, right? It's like if you talk to like Chris Bumstead, who's won like Mr. Olympia 3 times in a row now. There's two or three other people on Earth that have done 3 or more. There's 2 other dudes you can talk to about that.
That have shared that experience.
Yeah. He can't talk to. He can talk to someone else about that, but that person can't relate to him.
No.
He's like, yeah, that was sick. I watched that online.
So you become more and more isolated, I guess, the further you progress.
Yeah.
That's scary in a way.
Travel up this little bell curve.
So it'd be almost like stay just average, and then you got heaps of people to talk to.
Maybe that's scary. Maybe that's the cat. Average.
Oh yeah, listen. I don't want to stay average. I was nervous about doing this for the first time.
Yeah.
Now I'm comfortable. People want to come and hang out with me. I don't know who my true friends are anymore. I was lucky. My missus at my lowest point, so I'm lucky there. Jesus, we've been going for a while. It's good. It's good. It's good. I like it when people are chatty. The first few brilliant people I've had in so far, but they've been a little quiet. So I'm happy to talk about this all day. What else have we got here? I'm just going through some of your podcasts here. Jeez, you've been on a few here.
Yeah.
Here's some of these photos. I can't believe I'm dropping back.
Oh, fuck, I forgot about that one. Is that still up?
That is still there, mate.
I thought I deleted it.
Yeah, I'd delete that. That's not the case one. Do you know?
I thought I deleted it from Instagram.
Can you tell me the first letter of the first name of this lady? I'm not going to put the photo up.
H? That's not a real name, though.
I know. I'll just quickly show you something here. Hang on. Where are we? Is that her?
Yeah.
She's a fantastic young lady. I interviewed her a little while ago.
Oh, really?
Anyway, geez, let's get out of that one very quickly. All right. She's a live one. Anyway, what are we talking about, mate? Yeah. All right. How about we stay? Before we get into the PCR, let's just stay on this business, because I am very fascinated with this kind of stuff here. Your business, where you? Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Where you?
Yeah, it's spelt like a drunk text message.
Ah, I get you. Or is it, are you up? Should be you.
Yeah, or like WID or something like that. I think my personal payroll still gets processed as WID.
Tell me about this, because I was looking at this. Firstly, I have to say, and I'm not just saying this being nice, because I'm not nice, but it'd have to be one of the biggest transitions. I didn't know you before, say, a few weeks ago, but from seeing your Instagram to seeing who you are now, two totally different people. You seem to have extreme awareness, and you're not, I guess, afraid of education, of pushing yourself, which is great, which is a lot of what this PCR is about, because this is definitely out of your comfort zone. And your business does sound fantastic here. I was looking, and you're moving into a new apartment, or new office space
Next week, yeah.
Where is that?
Adelaide Terrace.
Oh, in the city.
I had the ATO as well, so I thought I'd move closer to all the other mining companies.
Where was your old one? I was trying to look for where that house is. Where is that?
It's on Wickham Street in East Perth.
Oh, okay. I couldn't work out where it was. And you've got a fair few crew working for you now.
Yeah, about a dozen.
Dozen. Good people?
Yeah, really good.
All switched on?
Yep.
All accountable?
Well, they wouldn't still be here if they weren't.
Okay, nice. Do you listen to Gary Vaynerchuk?
Like 5 years ago. I think he's a bit like, it's not really the kind of person. I like him as a person, his message, but like the kind of super extroverted thing doesn't really gel with me too much.
It's a lot, isn't it?
I'm pretty. I talk quickly, but my thoughts are more slow and I suppose philosophical. But he's a bit. I don't really like the whole hustle culture porn thing. Yeah.
I do enjoy him, but it's good that I can get him in low doses as well.
I think he's a net positive impact on the world. I'll put it that way.
Oh, yeah. He's done some great stuff. Good on him. Mate, tell me about whereyou.com.au.
Well, yeah.
That rhymes.
When you think about it, the whole internet's essentially just one massive street fight if you're a business owner. You're either fighting with competitors for your customers' attention, or you're fighting people that comment shit on your ads. And so what we do is we just grow their businesses online. We either do it with them or we do it for them. So if we're growing their business with them in like our With You program, it's a bit like having us in your corner. But if we're doing it for you, it's like we'll just get in the ring for you and dog shot your competitor. So yeah, we just grow their businesses online with like really exciting digital marketing strategies.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Any ones that you're working on at the moment you want to talk about?
Yeah, like loads of different ones. Like we're doing the Oktoberfest in the Gardens campaign, which is like, the big festival for Oktoberfest. We're doing like the whole country's campaign. We do a lot of events are our bread and butter. They're not our main clients, though. A lot of our clients are like service and e-commerce based businesses, but we still do the events because I'm from nightlife and a lot of the people we know are there. So we do a lot of they're formerly known as Origin, now they're like higher ground stuff. There's plenty of clients like killing it either in like our With You program or our For You services.
And what do you actually do with them?
So with like the With You program? Yeah,
like if I just say I've got a business and I'm coming on.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, listen, I've got a podcast that should be doing way better than it is, but in Struggle Town. What would you recommend to someone like me?
I actually wouldn't enroll you in the With You program. I can explain why, but I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why most businesses like enroll in our With You program.
Not this one. Just say there was a UFC one called the Grokka Republic with 3 fine-looking gentlemen that come on each week. One may have a UFC belt right down there. Yeah. What would you say to him?
Like a UFC fighter?
No, I'm just joking. That's just a plug for our UFC show here.
But yeah, like a lot of the reasons, like the reason the With You program came about is done for you agency services just don't economically make sense for a lot of early stage businesses, or like if the business is limited to like a certain like service area, like paying, with ad spend and management fees, like $8,000 to $10,000 a month, they just can't make that back in profit. Like if they're a gym selling a $10 a week membership and, they're expecting to make that back in a month. And so what happened was a bunch of people just asked us like, hey, can you just show us how to do this? And I was like, oh, that's a clever idea. I don't know why I didn't think of that 3 years ago. And so we just taught them in like 2 days, like how to make ads to get clicks, build out their campaigns so the right people show them, and then send them to the landing pages so those clicks actually turn into customers. And then the next thing that happened was like after those 2 days, everyone was like, yeah, this is sick. Like now my campaign's live. Who do I go to for like help to make it do better? Or if the platform changes, what do I do if things go wrong? And so I was like, fuck, I've only solved half the problem for you, haven't I? And so what we did is everyone gets like 12 months of support afterwards. And so as their campaigns are running, they can reach out to our team on Zoom or posting in our like school community. and just like get our whole team's support on like if something goes wrong or if it needs to do better, and then we can just look at it and go like there's so many examples like Humes, who's like bodybuilder in our program, sells like pre-workouts and protein powders and stuff like that. We just looked at his campaign and we're like, that's wrong, change this, this and this. 2-minute conversation, and he's doing like 5 or 6 times better than he was.
Really?
Like immediately.
Do you focus on a certain product or a certain industry?
Not really. Like service or e-commerce businesses, the strategies work for both. There are a small number of like certain industries where like digital marketing just isn't the way to go. So like paid digital advertising, like Facebook and Instagram ads and Google ads and things.
Do you remember how cheap they used to be?
Oh my God, bro.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
I started doing it in 2012.
Yeah.
And mate, it was a piece of cake.
So
Instagram was easy. Nowadays,
Yeah.
Jesus.
It's kind of like TikTok, because it's just a market of supply and demand of like how many people are on this platform, and that being the supply, and the demand being how many other advertisers are trying to get their eyeballs in front of that supply. And so as more advertisers join the platform, that supply and demand curve just changes. Like with TikTok right now, so many users, but not everyone's advertising on it yet. And so it's like I think like 8 or 10 times cheaper than Facebook is right now. But also the conversion tracking kind of sucks. So, but also Facebook pixels sucked at the start too. We'll get better later.
What happened to Facebook Pixels? Because that was going to be
it got kind of nuked when like Apple lied and said they care about privacy, and then they like blocked everyone's pixels and stuff like that. That's why that like yeah, but it's horse shit. Like if you go on Apple's website, they hired like I think the Facebook and the Snapchat pixel and a bunch of other pixels just in containers in their website, so it's hard to find. So they're using the same tools that they just blocked. They went on this. They went on some tangent like we're all about privacy. No, it's like horse shit. You use the same tools.
They track, yeah.
Sorry.
So, and what are some of the companies you reckon would thrive? So you're talking about e-commerce kind of properties, businesses.
I think personally, like if you're a service-based business, you'll kill it in like a with you or for you program.
Service though, I used to have a business that was a service. I'm not sure I'm a people person though.
Yeah, that's the other thing too, is like the next hurdle we always had to get over is people that came to us were just relying on word of mouth or referrals. And so those people that came to them were already sold on them. They were just saying like, who do I pay? Whereas when you're like running paid ads, now you're selling to strangers. And so rather than coming in at like a 7 or an 8 out of 10 on the buyer ready scale, they're like a 3. Yeah. And so a lot of the people, when they start running ads, they go, oh, they don't work. I'm like, no, it worked. You didn't sell. So you couldn't bridge that gap because you haven't done it before, right? Yeah. And there's like the only people that say they're bad salespeople are good salespeople having a bad week. Everyone else, I ask anyone, you're a good salesperson? Yeah, bro, I can sell ice to Eskimos. Okay, and then let's try and sell to strangers on the internet then. And that was always the next hurdle we had to like. We trained them to on how to do this. We give them our sales scripts, how to like overcome everything. But yeah, I think because I'm a service-based business owner myself, I've got a little bit of an unfair advantage in the space.
Maybe that's what I need to do, mate. Maybe I need to take myself out of my comfort zone and book in a session with whereyou.com.au, because I do find myself being very comfortable a lot of the time now.
That's honestly like the biggest hurdle. A lot of people that do like our traffic discovery sessions is just like, I don't know if this will work for me, or blah, 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 blah. It's just an objection, right? It's like, well, we can keep doing the same thing and get exactly the same results, or we can do something different and consequentially get a different result, right? We can't keep doing the same thing and expect a different result. That's insanity, right?
It is. It's insanity. And one of my mates often says, great quote here by Bartek Gontrichevsky, he says, people hate 2 things. They hate the way things are, and they hate change. Yeah. So that seems to be the struggle. I'm guilty of it. I think I got awareness, but I think I'm guilty of just taking it easy at times.
Yeah, change is a hard one. Like I had to change my whole like training program and flip it on its head for this, and I was like, oh, this is all different and weird, and yeah.
Have you had any, you don't have to tell me this, have you had any people that you work with where the results haven't been what you thought they were?
Yeah, absolutely.
And what happens there?
So what usually happens is there's a disconnect between expectations and reality. So we try and like I have this saying that people are only disappointed when their expectations don't meet reality. So we spend a lot of time on expectations management. And so I'll come up with an example now of like someone I've been talking to who I basically tried to talk out of it yesterday just to really set expectations clearly. I said, how long is your sales cycle? It takes them 2 years to sell their product. I'm not going to say what it is. It's very expensive. It takes them 2 years to sell their product.
To sell their product?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
It's like houses. Like castles. not quite. But anyway, their sales cycle is like 2 years. And I'm like, okay, do you understand that like we only have like 3 months to impress you, then it's month to month billing. You understand we're not going to be able to sell something in those 3 months, right? Because we need, given what you just said, 21 more months. And so then it becomes about expectations management. Like how many leads a month would you be happy with? Like what would just make you feel good, right? But then, it's usually just like expectations management and I try and take as much responsibility as possible. And it's exactly what I said before where like, I don't know, the reception staff or something like that just weren't used to selling to strangers because the only people that called them had already been sold on them by a friend. Okay. And they're like, I'm getting all these people calling me and like they're not buying. And then we listened to the phone calls because they're recorded on CallRail, like with permission obviously. And we're like, what? How do you not like sell that person? We literally had one client that like, he's like, oh yeah, I got one. I'm like, cool. Like, did you get the money? Did he pay? He's like, no. I'm like, what do you mean happened? He goes, well, he said he wanted to enroll and then we ended the call. I'm like, no, ask Visa or MasterCard and then sell them the thing. it's just like, it's like sometimes as well, like we try, I'm pretty good at weeding them out now. They think that a marketing problem will solve another problem in their business, which is just like there might be like an operations problem or a brand problem. There could be so many different problems. Like we're just solving like getting more leads or getting more sales, right? But if like, I don't know, you have a bunch of bad reviews that you've hidden from us or something like that, there's only so much we can really do. And so when we do our screening process, we had to take in like the whole scope of like the entire business and go, okay, cool. Like if someone's been with, I'll say this. Fuck it. I'll say it.
No, I can always edit it out. I can.
No. I'll say it anyway. So, if a business has been with so many different agencies in the past,
are we talking about digital marketing businesses?
Yeah. Okay. So, like, if a business has been with like multiple different agencies in the past, and then they come to us, I get very, 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 very nervous because I'm like, look, you've been with a dozen agencies in a couple of years. There is one variable which is consistent across all of them. And it isn't the agencies, it's you. Yeah. So this isn't like a one-way street where like we never talk to you or communicate to you at all. Like we need to talk to you and collaborate for this to work, right? 12 people have tried to do that with you now.
But you would have seen, I've seen it, so you would have seen it way more than me, seen the quality or the lack of quality from some of these people that claim to be digital marketers.
That's the other thing too, right? Because everyone has a Facebook account, so everyone thinks they're a social media manager, right? The sample size of people that are using the tool is very large, and so consequently, there's a lot of people that think they can use it intelligently, right? And so that happens. I was literally like, I emailed a guy yesterday, and I was like, we were talking about a year ago, and I just thought of him because I was talking to someone similar, and he didn't go with us. I think it was because of price, and then I said, how's things going? He's like, I'm really frustrated with these agencies and blah, 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 blah. It's like taking weeks to respond to things. I'm like, yeah, that's pretty standard. Like your mate, that's your competitor that you know that you got the referral from us, he doesn't have that problem. And he's like, I knew you'd say that. I was like, well, do you want to, I'm like, how many agencies have you been with? He's like 3. I'm like, how many more times do you want to try? Or do you just want to get it right this first time? Anyway, that was just a shameless plug for us. But I totally understand. Like it's the most common thing we hear is, or one of the most common things we hear is like, I talk to my agency and I don't get a reply to my email, or they explain things in buzzwords or jargon or acronyms and I don't even understand what they're saying, right? Or they want to talk clicks and comments, but obviously you're a business owner, you want to talk profit and loss, right? And so we just speak to them in their own language, like clearly, right? Well, this is obviously turning into a sales pitch, but I understand that there's so many different agencies out there just because there's so many people using the tool, like Google. They're like, I've done a Google search before. I know how to make Google ads. Or I like post on Facebook and Instagram, and all of my friends like my post. I should be a social media manager. That there's just a larger sample size of dickheads that started and tried and consequently just like got really bad results and just burn it everyone. Yeah. So that's why that happens.
How do you convince someone that you are not like all these other people?
The track record. Google us. I have precisely 0 bad reviews.
I'm going to go in there and give you a bad review.
The internet
so you gave me attitude, yelled in my microphone.
And the internet's a mean place, right?
Savage.
If you have something bad to say, you're going to say it. Right?
Don't they say like there's 10 negative comments to every one positive? Because you don't put positive ones up there.
Yeah,
the
brain has
hang shit on people.
The brain has like a negative bias, right?
Yeah.
If you want to say something bad, there's no real repercussions on the internet.
No.
Someone might clap back at you, but it's not going to punch you in the face.
I'll have to look into this. I want to talk more about this because I do find this interesting, and the stuff I do, I thought I was all right at it, but I can always willing to grow, willing to actually get better. Even your face is popping up in the corner. Nice.
Yeah, that'll go to my phone.
I should message you now, see what happens. Yeah. Should we actually get onto this PCR?
We talked about it.
What are we doing here?
What are we talking for?
There you go, 1 hour 16.
Oh, cool.
Jesus. All right. Let's actually, should we get into this? Is there any more? Firstly, I had some social medias here, the social media photos here that really I was just going to give you a hard time. How much My Chemical Romance did you play back in the day?
Way too much.
Look at the eye makeup. My God. That was it. That was all I had. Let's get on to PCR number 8, which is only, I should have worked this out yesterday. I don't know, 5.5 weeks away?
Yeah, something like that.
That is coming around so quick.
Yeah.
Too quick. Okay. Number 1, your sponsor. Who is your sponsor?
Me. Well, it's Where Are You, which is us.
Tell me about that.
But I processed the invoice.
How did you go approaching yourself to sponsor yourself?
Well, I didn't really have a choice, did I?
Negotiated. That's good, sponsoring yourself. I rate that very highly because that is, I suppose, an investment plus a belief in yourself. That's got to be
Well, I
good.
can't lose. I want to turn the footage into an ad, so...
Oh, really? Jeez. I wonder if any of this podcast is going to get on there. The reasons, we've gone through a lot of this anyway, but the reasons behind your application, is it just pushing yourself, being uncomfortable? What is it?
Yeah, it's literally just that. Like, I've noticed a direct correlation between how uncomfortable I am and how much I learn about myself in situations. And so I'm like, okay, we'll just do another uncomfortable thing. I honestly don't enjoy boxing. It's probably a really bad thing to say, but that's kind of why I'm doing it. And I also don't like group classes at all. I actually really like everyone there. I'm very antisocial now because I had to socialize way too much in my early 20s. And my social battery's just burnt out. Literally, in my car before the first group training session, there's a trick. They learnt it in the study, I can't remember, some university in the US. If you just say out loud to yourself, I'm excited, you actually, studies show that you actually get a little bit more excited. I was sitting in my car in silence saying I'm excited out loud. If anyone walked past, they might have thought I was a psychopath just because I was like, I don't want to do this group class, I don't like boxing, I hate both of these things, and now I had to do it with other people.
Just sat there saying I'm excited.
Yeah, I just for like 10 minutes. It was insane.
That's amazing what that can do, though.
It kind of worked. It actually kind of did. I did
that shit works.
Yeah, I did like 3 times. It was like, that actually might not be that bad.
Have you ever stood in front of the mirror? This is taking it from a TED talk. You ever stood in the mirror in the Superman pose?
Yeah, but that was when I was bodybuilding and I was trying to do a lat spread.
I did. I even did a bit of Photoshop here. Jeez, we're not staying on topic. Where is this photo? This is, how good is this? That's you. See whose melon that is at the top?
Glenn.
That's a $6 million man, Glenn Austin. That's not what his body looks like. How long do you reckon you're going to be able to keep? Because, firstly, how long have you had this awareness and this drive? Because it seems to be, from what I hear, it's almost like you are like a 45-year-old professor. No, it's good. It's a compliment. 45-year-old professor who has seen some shit.
Well, there's no like single event I can like attribute it to where like this happened and then I was like this. It's just like it's like a snowball. You keep pushing it and like building momentum and things like that. Yeah, it's just like a bunch of like experiences. Like, oh, that happened, and then you learnt this, and then you just try and like close the feedback loop between something happening and you learning something, and then just like remembering it and writing it down. So it's just an ongoing process. But there's never been like a particular like event, like or like I read a book or someone told me something that like it just snapped.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you think you're going to maintain this enthusiasm for the years to come?
It's just new challenges.
Have you got any kids?
No.
Ah. I love kids.
I can't
Throw a kid into there and you'll be tested, my friend.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't, because I'm going to have my own expectations. I'm like, what if I just don't like them? Like, just,
you love kids.
Like, I'm just going to have my own expectations, which is just unfair on them. But then also I'm like, well, you didn't become, the first president of Australia, you fucking loser. But like,
that's harsh on the kid, man.
Because I'm going to have high expectations. I have high expectations for myself. I have high expectations for my friends. How high do you think they are for like offspring?
It's different.
Yeah.
It's different. If you want to test yourself, I'm going to say this quiet so she doesn't hear me. If you really want to test yourself, marry a redhead and have 2 redheaded kids, mate. She can't hear me. She's just in the other room. You got all this to look forward to, mate. It will be interesting, and it's a great attitude to instill on children as well. Because if they had that awareness nice and early. Just imagine, though, because this, you think about our parents, this isn't having to go at our parents, but you think they never had access to the internet when they were growing up.
Yep.
They didn't have access to the information that we do.
Yeah.
And what we have now is probably in 20 years is going to be looked at as like, God, how the hell did you guys
this is
survive
like the
with
best time to be alive?
It always is so.
Yeah.
But think about where it's going.
Yeah.
It's scary.
Yeah, it's kind of terrifying.
Anyway,
whatever.
Off topic.
We're all going to die and it won't matter anyway, and it'll probably be AI that kills us for sure.
Oh, yeah, they're coming. They are coming. All right. I should consult more with you to help me stay on topic because I am the absolute worst at going off on tangents. Let's get back to PCR. Oh, I can see this one being a long one. Can't wait to edit this. We got photos tonight.
You got an AI tool to edit podcasts? Yeah?
That'd be all right, wouldn't it?
Have you got it?
No.
There is one.
Really?
Yeah, you just upload your footage and then it's weird to watch. You just go, this is speaker A, this is speaker B, this is speaker A's camera, this is speaker B's camera, and then it'll chop and change between people in like a couple seconds.
You are joking.
No, look it up. It's a Premiere Pro extension. What are you editing?
I do have Premiere Pro.
Yeah, it's an extension for that.
Not saying it's legal, but I have Premiere Pro. Jeez, AI are going to be all over me now. I should have a look at that. Anyway, let's get back to this. Have you been... Firstly, obviously you're mates with Rory. Any other connections to the fighters this time round?
No. One, I think Billy works with my ex-girlfriend's mum, and they're coming.
That's a stretch. That is a stretch, mate.
She was like, are you friends with Mandy Italiano? I'm like, well, I wouldn't say I'm friends with her, but her like daughter does work. She works with me, and she's my ex-girlfriend. So yeah, that's the only connection.
Jesus, okay, I'll stay out of that one. Have you been to one of these events before?
No, I haven't.
You are in for a treat.
Yeah,
you are very familiar with the party scene.
Yeah.
And people having a good time. This is a different level because this is everyone drinking, not saying excessively, but I'm saying the drinks consumed with a 7.5 hour premium drink package and 3-course meal at Crown Towers Grand Ballroom. I should know. I've only said that 50 times. It is something else. It really is. Yeah. And I think I've been to a few. What I couldn't work out was there's this energy in this room and it's unusual because a lot of people are sitting down. Couldn't work out where this energy's come from. I think it's because of the fear. Yeah. There is this fear in the room that everyone have because everyone's got their mates and their mum and dad there, and there's this fear that little baby Rory is going to get hurt.
Yeah.
It's an event, mate.
Yeah, it's because it's a fight. Like I was thinking about this the other day, like why all of these celebrities do fight sports, and it's because it gets attention. Because fights are the only sport where it doesn't matter what country or continent you're from, you understand a fight. You don't need to know the rules.
No.
You know what a winner and a loser looks like in a fight. It's very clear. That's why all these like big celebrities are trying to do fights, because they just get more impressions and it's marketing, and there's a return on investment afterwards, right?
Jake Paul's done well.
Yeah, exactly. And
good on him,
Jake, the prime guy. Yeah, it just gets more.
Oh, Logan.
Logan. Sorry, I don't.
It's going to get done by Dylan Dennis in October, by the way. But anyway, let's not talk about that.
They win or lose, they get impressions. So it doesn't matter if he wins or loses. More people are looking at his drink, and more people are buying his little sugary prime drink thing.
It's sort of something you can't fake either, is it?
Yeah, you can, but someone's getting hit.
Yeah, I mean,
Even if it's fake, that's why people watch WWE. There's people getting hurt and they're fighting each other. Why people watch action movies? They know it's not real. There's a fight.
It's different though. WWE is great, but fighting, it's something else. It's like someone compared it to. It's like when someone lies on a resume and says, "Yeah, I speak French."
Yeah,
it's something that you can't do. You can't fake it.
Yeah,
you can't fake a fight.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's odd to see the reaction of people. Some people thrive. Some people get a smack in the mouth.
Yeah,
and suddenly they just become this super. Especially, I found the females as well. Some of these girls where I thought, I don't know how you girls are going to go, but they've got in there and they have just impressed me so much. Young lady, I did bring this up before, Phoebe Lang, I think it was. Phoebe Lang. Just a star on the night. And I thought, this girl is too sweet and innocent, and just performed on the night. Good on you, Phoebe. Got the win over Rani Rio. Jesus, sorry, man. You staying at the Crown?
I live like 4 minutes away, so it seems kind of redundant too, but maybe.
Just one night?
Yeah, maybe.
Just being able to waltz down from your room, just being able to take it nice and easy.
Yeah, I don't know if I want any changes in environment. That's what I'm trying to manage as well. I wanted to keep everything consistent. I do the same warm
I like
up.
it.
Like, I think...
Routine?
Yeah,
routine.
Because if I get a room, then my friends are going to come up, and that's going to distract me. I want to sit in a room in silence. I'm not going to have my phone for the last 24 hours. I'll just make a group chat, put someone in charge of it, remove myself. You're in charge of making sure everyone gets in. I'll see you guys after the fight. I want to keep everything kind of consistent.
Have you seen the cardboard cutouts on the way in?
I have, actually.
We're taking the photos tonight, so make sure you're looking sharp tonight, okay? So I was going to say, you said you live just near the Crown. What suburb are you in?
East Perth.
Oh, okay. Oh, just down the road.
Across the river.
Just walk across the river, mate. Warm up. Just jog.
Just jog. You can watch your shin splints on the way there. That'd be great.
Have you any boxing experience prior to this? I know you said you're not a fan of boxing.
Yeah, not good experiences. Like 2019, I started doing boxing at Kick-Ass MMA.
Kick-Ass, where is that? I've seen that.
Morley.
Oh, yeah, I know the one.
I used to do their Facebook ads when I built their website. So Steve...
Is there a Mike? I can't think of the name of the guy. There's not a Mike isn't a part owner? No? I must have the wrong one there. Keep going. I interrupted you.
Started doing it just like one-on-one PTs there, mostly for fitness, but figured out pretty quickly I was terrible at it and obviously didn't enjoy it, so didn't really keep doing it. But yeah, I kept doing his ads afterwards anyway and things like that. That's the only experience. And then I sparred with like my PT handful of times. Terrible. So bad at it. So like I've experienced trying to throw punches. Calling it boxing per se would be a bit of a stretch for me personally.
Just more a brawl. You look pretty good at training though. Yeah. I watch all you guys are training.
Trying to focus more.
Yeah?
Yeah. I worked with like a neuroscientist for a couple of weeks trying to tune my focus.
Well, you look comfortable. I'm not saying that you are comfortable, but you look the part.
I got a good facade going.
I look awesome.
Yeah.
I think as soon as you split into the teams, I think I would like, they match you so evenly. It is ridiculous. I don't know how they do it, but they manage to, where anyone can win any fight. Even though someone goes, this person's a hot favourite. No, it's anyone's game, whoever turns up.
Yeah.
And it takes them a good 3-4 weeks to see who is that good, who is to match everyone up. And there's a lot they put into it. But I would love to see them either the training session be 10 weeks rather than 8, give you an extra couple of weeks and split you off earlier.
Yeah.
As soon as you split off into those teams, that's when Glenn and Nige and Craig and Chris start working. I reckon that's where you're going to thrive, when they start working on the mind games as well.
Yeah, that's really kind of my strength. It's I might not throw the hardest punch, but my music's going to slap harder than everyone else's.
Oh, when that bass kicks in, mate.
But
I'm just going to tell the other two boys, because we're commentating, I'm just going to say, listen, when it hits the 10-second mark, it's going to be Gordy Monteleone all over again. Yeah. If I have a heart attack here, someone just resuscitate me. Have a defib ready to go.
Yeah. But secondly, like the mind games thing is really where I kind of thrive, because I spend a lot of time working on that, trying to fine tune that, like we've been talking about the last hour, right? Yeah. So that's where I get really excited, because I'm like, that's how the brain. Like I spent like 2 hours the other night researching like the science of goal setting and motivation, things like that, right?
Okay.
And all these different, because I'm really interested in sales, which is essentially influence, and so a byproduct of that is I'm really good at influencing myself. And so
sell to yourself. That sounds
great.
So
I can like convince myself to do things, or anyway, like under the broad umbrella term of like persuasion and influence, like I'm good at that, but then I can also apply it to myself. But yeah, this is where I get like really, really excited. Like there isn't much more I can do in like the physical sense, but because I've kind of like tapped out like with that training, there's not much more I can do without really blasting myself too hard. Like the mind is where the next natural kind of opportunity is. Like, how much sleep do you need to get? How often do you meditate? Like, I do float tanks and stuff like that.
They're good.
Yeah.
Very salty.
Yeah. Yeah, they are. I fucking got it in my eyes.
I didn't clean myself. I did one once. I didn't clean myself off, and there was just white shit absolutely everywhere afterwards.
Yeah.
This is where I reckon you're going to thrive.
Yeah, I'm excited for that too.
I don't know who you're going to be put with, what team. Do you have a team preference?
I look good in red.
Red. I thought, I'm not saying I have no idea where the teams are going, but I think Nige and Craig would suit you better. I mean, they're going to pick. They know better than me. This is just my opinion. Yeah. But yeah, I think because Glenn is just an absolute maniac. Swears a lot. Well, you swear a lot. You probably fit in there as well. Nigel's a bit calmer and a bit more calculated.
Yeah.
So both of them excellent coaches, way better than anything I could do. Mm-hmm. But I think you'll see a change as soon as you go into that team, and it's a lot more one-on-one, and you're going to probably know your opponent. Yeah. That's going to be obvious pretty soon. Yeah. I think you're going to absolutely thrive.
Yeah, I'll be excited for that. I'll be watching his interview. I know you'll watch mine too.
Do you know who your opponent is?
No, I don't know who it is, but they'll probably watch.
Who do you reckon? Who do you reckon you go?
I'm really bad with names.
So am I. That's why I haven't been tagging everyone. I was going, who the hell is this in this damn thing? Tagging. I just tag gobsmacked and everything. There we go. Yeah. No idea who your opponent's going to be?
No.
It's quite a few of you, because there's the big boys. There's obviously the 6 girls. That one, if I had to make a call, I'm confident. I know the 3 fights that are going on there. Yeah. With the guys, there's the big boys, there's a couple of small guys, and then there's all of you guys in the middle.
Yeah, I'm pretty middle of the bell curve, so...
There could be like 10 different guys you're fighting.
Yeah.
Or a girl. Imagine that.
That ever happened?
No, God, no. Can you imagine the commission approving that?
Oh, yeah, I
There's
forgot about
no way. I think a lot of those girls would beat me as well.
Oh, they'd bash me.
Oh, Bella and that if Bella fights Danielle, I can't think of her last name. I'm sorry, Danielle. If those two fight, that's going to be a cracker, because those 2 girls can fight. Yeah. They'd both beat me. No question. My body's not the greatest. I think the mental game, that's why I think you're going to thrive here on the night. I'm not putting my tips in, but I think you're a favourite. I'll give you about $1.40. Yeah. I think in this environment, I believe that the mental side of it outweighs the physical side.
Yeah, I'd agree. Definitely would anything difficult really. Like with the bodybuilding comp last year, it's just you in your own head, and you start doubting yourself, like, fuck, am I going to get lean enough? Like I had to drop 16 kilos in 18 weeks of fat. Like I had to lose a kilo of fat a week. Fucking I didn't eat. That's what I did. Fucking I didn't eat, and I was at the gym 17 hours a week.
Oh my God.
And so it's just you're in your own head, right? And so if you don't have a clear mental clarity or high enough conviction, don't worry about the other person. You'll beat yourself up in your own head, because it's just you.
I think that's what people do.
Yeah. And the other thing as well is like most people, like boxing aside and this competition aside, most people just they're too glued with their phone that they never settle the snow globe of their mind. It's just getting rattled all the time. And they don't like put their phone down and just like sit there. Like if you ever do you ever see anyone just standing or sitting and nothing?
I'm glad you said that. I don't swear on this, but I won't swear. I'm very glad, I use another word there, that you said that. Because I went out for dinner last night, never go out for dinner, and I was sitting there with my family, and there was no phones out. Oh, there was, Glenn was messaging me for something. But besides that, no one was talking. Yeah. And it just must be this mountain of information and stimulation. And do you use a phone in bed?
Not in bed. My screen time's about an hour a day.
Really?
Yeah.
That's not much.
Yeah, hot tip. Like,
give me a hot tip.
Use I think it's called Opal. It's an app. Because you had the screen time lock on an iPhone. Like, you can set it's like 1 hour lock, but then you can still use it for an hour up until then. So you can use it during work. The Opal app, you can just set hours, and they can say like if I'm having a day where like I'm not checking my phone, I'll block literally every single app except WhatsApp, because that's where my girlfriend messages me. Because like
I don't block the missus, mate. You'll never hear the end of that.
Like we literally both got WhatsApp just so we could talk to each other, because I block everything else. But I'll block out everything else and I'll put it on the hardest difficulty mode. So unless I delete Opal from my phone, I can't open anything else for a couple of hours. And then when I do open it, I'm like, oh, cool, no one's talking to me because I didn't post anything. Sensational.
Same thing, isn't it? There's something you can do with a phone. A friend of mine, Amanda, she's the one that showed us. You can do it where it strips the colour out of a phone.
Yeah, you make it black and white.
Yeah. It is just not entertaining at all. I used that one. This is crap. Not that I was playing Minecraft on my phone, but I was like, this is terrible.
Yeah, there's no like colourful, contrasted notifications. I go, oh, what's this email?
Yeah, that's good. That's what I got to stop using it in bed, because the mind's taking over, and then it affects your sleep, and then it's just a vicious cycle.
Yeah, and most people just don't sit in their own thoughts.
No.
That's why they don't know themselves, because they're just getting just nervously flicking their thumb and doom scrolling. They never just like sit in their own thoughts and go, what do I want to do with my life? And
you been on a train recently?
A train? No.
I went on a train not long ago, and it was sad to see that everyone was just staring down. Yeah. I suppose it is better though, because you used to sit opposite some creep.
Yeah.
He used to just stare at you. Just licking his lips. You go, oh, Jesus. Should never have got on the Armadale line. Yeah. So nothing against Armadale people. Yeah. I know a lot of Armadale people listen.
The second time
I know. Jeez, I'm at them.
They're going to town on them.
Billy Quincroft down that way. All right, Glenn, Nige, Chris, Craig, Crabby, Luke, all these guys, the whole crew. Have you got any connections to any of these guys? First time meeting them?
Yeah.
How have you found them?
Yeah, really great.
The main coaches. I'm
an antisocial person, so when I meet anyone for the first time, or the proposition that I need to meet someone comes up, I'm usually like, I know enough people. But I always know that whenever I meet someone, they're a nice person, and it doesn't matter if it's these guys or anyone. But it's been really great. Like training with them and things like that. Definitely like gel with all of them.
They love the boxing. I don't think they love.
You'd sure hope so.
Yeah. I think all the business side of things, I think it just does their head in. But they do it well. But they're good guys, and they want success for everyone. So competitive as well with the red versus blue.
Yeah.
And Red are coming off a massive win. You just see the strut on Nigel, the notorious Nigel Groves. 11-4. Yeah, they got up last time.
I think I heard you mention on Roy's pod.
Never have I seen that. It's always been 1 or 2 in it. It has been close. Yeah. But in saying that, this is nothing against the blue team from the last PCR. There was a lot of fights there that could have gone either way. It could very easily have been a blue win.
Yeah, well.
I'm not going to comment on the judges for some of those, but we know. Yeah. Eating and drinking.
Yeah.
How has it changed? Because I'm guessing you're at a weight now. Obviously, going through some of your photos, you are a lot healthier now. Mine seems to be a lot healthier now. If you had to change anything up, like to help recovery, you're smashing the protein powder. You obviously had a few pre-workouts before walking in here. You jumped up those stairs.
Yeah, the diet's pretty much the same. What really changed for me, which was actually really difficult at the start, I'm still getting over it now, was because I'm used to doing strength training every morning, 5 days a week, but I can't do that volume of work with the boxing as well.
Just through muscle soreness?
Yeah, just muscle soreness and fatigue and things like that. So now I only do strength training twice a week, but then I have 3 days a week where I'm not blasting 400 milligrams of caffeine and trying to pick 200 kilos up off the floor. And I'm like, what's going on? I've been doing this every day for like 2 years. And so there's that weird shift into that uncomfortable thing we've been talking about this whole time, right? And so I had to fill it with something else, and so I'm starting to do cardio or just like walking and stretching. I stretch a lot now because I'm way too taut for a 27-year-old.
How good is stretching?
Oh, yeah,
so good.
It takes you a week to notice stuff, but I'm definitely noticing it now. But yeah, and because I'm used to training in the morning, now I'm training in the evenings. I'm like, this is different. I get home at 8:30. I'm like, what the fuck?
Are you sleeping well?
Yeah, I sleep. Oh, this week I won't. I slept 2 hours the other night because I do a lot of coaching programs, and because they're in the US and the time zone difference, they either finish late or start late or something like that. This week was very off, but next week will be very back to normal. But yeah, that's been another thing too, is just going to bed later, because prior to this training I was going to bed at 8:30, waking up at 4:35. Now everything's getting kind of pushed back, and I'm a creature of habit like anyone is, and I'm used to doing the same thing, and now it's a little bit different. And
you a morning person?
Yeah, I'm definitely a morning person. I go to bed like 8:39 now, which sounds weird because I used to be
a total opposite of what you used to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Sleep is so important, mate.
Yeah, I bought a bunch of sleep supplements the other week just for that like final stretch in the 4 weeks in the lead up to the fight. I nearly bought an 8 sleep, but they're like $3,500.
Oh, what?
8 sleep. It's like a mattress cover that it controls the temperature, and so your body needs to drop like 1 or 2 degrees.
2 degrees to go to sleep. Yeah.
Yeah, and so what it does is you set the temperature and it will lower the temperature, so you fall asleep with the thing, and then it will wake you up at the right time. And by raising the temperature, it has like little fluid pockets that go for it.
Really?
Really cool. Not a sponsorship, but
use promo code.
It's probably called Kill Code. Get out 8 hours extra sleep. But
we're gonna get some sponsors for this show. We really do. The amount of stuff the things we plug. So much shit.
I nearly got one of those, but like I try and prioritize sleep a lot because I know it's really important. I wear an Aura ring that measures my sleep. I got double glazed windows. I got a blackout curtains, a weighted blanket.
Is it noisy in East Perth?
Yeah, I'd say noisy-ish, depending what time it is. Usually just like crackheads running around screaming and stuff like that. That's like white noise to me now. I fall asleep to that stuff.
Sometimes that can actually help you get to sleep.
Yeah.
No, it is like the sound of a train or the sound of...
Yeah, I have like a white noise machine as well and stuff like that.
Maybe not crackies fighting outside your door. They're not there, so you just sprinkle some, like getting pigeons around just to
I got night vision goggles too, so sometimes I just watch them from my balcony and stuff.
Oh, jeez. Obviously, you spent many in your years in your early 20s enjoying refreshments. How have you gone? Have you had time off the alcohol, or you just calmed it down? What have you done?
The last time I drank was right before the orientation. I think when I saw you going around interviewing people, I was like, fuck, don't interview me. I'm so hungover.
I think I did. I think I stuck that in your face as well, didn't I?
You did. I was like, God damn, I don't remember what I said. That was the last time I drank. I actually don't really enjoy drinking very much at all anymore. Last couple of times I drank, didn't really enjoy it. Yeah, like obviously I used to drink like 5 nights a week, heaps, like not small nights either. But
it must be costly if you were. What did Billy refer to it as? Piss fit, I think he said, is where you can consume a lot of alcohol.
Yeah.
Must be costly.
Yeah. Like I was fucking bulletproof. I was like I said, I was that lab rat that's had so much poison you can't kill it anymore, right? And then but that. Yeah, that was piss fit. That's a funny phrase. I like that. I'm going to use that now. That's going to my lexicon.
Billy Quincroft, thanks. That was actually. I'm pretty sure Billy told me that word.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I don't really drink a whole lot anymore. We have a moving office party next Friday. I'll drink at that probably. I'm not excited about it. Like I don't get to Friday anymore. I'm like, fuck yeah, let's get on it. I'm just like, can't wait to go to bed.
How good is that? But you know, it normally hits your mid-30s, mate. So
Man,
you're
nothing
coming of
gets me
age.
more excited than just like closing my eyes for prolonged periods of time anymore.
Oh, how good's that? How good's that when you go, I'm going to get an
Having
awesome
a little
night's
lie
sleep.
down.
Little siesta.
Yeah.
Those Spanish have got it right, don't they? They still
Yeah.
close up shop at about 1
Yeah,
o'clock
have a
till
little
4.
afternoon nap for 30 minutes. That's really good.
How good would that be?
Yeah.
Oh, just shut everything off.
gonna
Just
get like
all the Wi-Fi goes down for about
I'm
4
gonna
hours.
I'm going to have my own office in the new office, which is going to be great. I'm going to have a little nap corner. It's going to be fantastic.
Beanbags?
We have these 2 giant ass bean bags that cost me like $700 each. They're like,
Jeez.
they take up like 2 meters by 2 meters.
Really?
I like made a memory foam. Therapy Pods, just another plug. But like,
Therapy Pods, major sponsor. Therapy Pods. Use the code, kill code.
yeah. They're not that great to sleep in though. I'm gonna build a little nap corner. What's that episode of Seinfeld where George builds a bed under his desk? That's gonna be me. Custom desk with a slide out drawer for my pillow, my memory foam pillow. That's gonna go there. Then another drawer for my weighted blanket, and then white noise sounds.
Oh, that'd be right.
It's gonna be sick.
Imagine how productive you'd be if you actually got to do things like have naps and enjoyed the work.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
I need to do a bit more of that. Mental changes. How have you gone? You've got a focal point, which is approximately 30 odd days away. I still haven't done those sums.
Yeah.
How much easier or harder is it to get up and say, let's train because I'm getting in the ring on October 7?
Definitely easier because I know I have to do it and the cat's pretty real. Doesn't mean I enjoy I don't enjoy it anymore.
Yeah.
I know it has to be done, and so like going through that. But definitely like I do spend a lot of time with like visualization and everything like that. So that's a thing that I've been using. A tool under the belt. But focus wise, it's more of the same. Like I'm a relatively motivated and focused person, so it's just about like pointing that energy in a different direction.
Okay.
And then focus isn't really doing more, it's just doing less of other stuff. And so like I said, like telling my chess coach, like, let's put this off for 6 weeks, or just like deleting shit from my calendar.
Yeah.
I spend a lot of time just sitting in silence.
Silence is a thing of beauty.
Just settling the mind, because you don't want... Because it's like progressive overload for your mind. Just, things and thoughts just keep stacking up. Most of them are pretty meaningless. And so they keep stacking up, and it's like a... here's a really good analogy. It's like your phone. You know when you forget... You get an iPhone?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know when you keep too many apps open and then you just don't close them?
Yeah.
And then it gets a little bit slower, and then you just got to go, oh yeah, shit, and just like delete a bunch.
Close 400 apps.
Yeah, close 400 apps and the thing just goes faster.
Yeah.
It's because the CPU or whatever it is, the RAM's just overloaded, right? Yeah. And so your brain's just a bit like that, where you just got to like delete some apps.
I've got like a 10 megabyte RAM, mate.
Yeah.
Mine gets full very quickly.
Yeah, so it's a bit like that. So that's a big focus of mine as well.
So you visualised your walkout?
Yep.
You must have. You put a lot of work into that walkout track, mate.
There was 5 minutes that passed between me reading the email and making that.
Okay, I don't have it still open. I was going to play it one more time. Do I still have it open?
No, that was the
There we do. I just want to hear this bass drop one more time, mate.
Did you get to the second part?
Oh, we'll get to the second part right now. Am I going to get done for copyright if I put this on YouTube? Probably. I don't care. I'll work it out. Let's go. Let's have a listen to this. Okay, what I want you to do is you visualize this whole 1 minute 18 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay, do you want to I'll play it and you tell me. I'm going to close my eyes.
I'm not going to do it. I don't want to reveal anything.
Oh, okay. That's right.
It's in my own head.
Okay. Well, we'll listen to the bass drop one more time and we know what's going on.
Fathers and America, a nation reborn. May God be with you all.
My desk is just going to be out. If Brightside put me next to the bloody speakers again, we're going to have a problem. Where's the second bit kick in?
Go forward to see that. Yeah, right there.
There?
Yeah, go about there.
I'm scared to actually listen to this, but here we go. Oh my God. Oh my God. People, I'm going to be in trouble by about. Oh, that's only a minute.
Yeah.
Oh,
I had fun making that. That was good.
oh my God, that's so much bass. Have you? And you've done Rory's for him.
Yeah. I'm not going to say what it is. He also doesn't want to reveal what it is, but his is scary.
He sent it to me, and I listened to it. It is good. The song itself, I think if you just heard the song, you go, "This doesn't make sense." Yeah. But when you picture the walkout, someone did. It was Ronnie. He did "No Church in the Wild." He did that, and I listened to it and I went, what's this going on? And then he came out and I went, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, this one, I'm aware of this now, so I'm just going to prepare myself. I'll try to prepare the crowd. If they can hear me, I'm just going to say, everyone, just hang on to your drinks, everyone. Hang on to your chest, because it's about to get real in here. All right, before this, here we go. Have you got any concerns about the evening?
Not really, but there's also you don't know what you don't know. I'm trying to control as many variables as I can. There's very few things that can be left to chance. So I'm controlling as many variables as I possibly can, but there's still what you don't know. Something can just go wrong in the night. But I think I know you mentioned it with Roy, the people that regret things. I can't think of anything I could have done in the preparation that hasn't been done. So win or lose, ultimately I win either way just by getting in the ring, because fucking little bitch 21-year-old Wilco wouldn't have gotten in there, right? Win or lose, I win in my own mind and Wilco dies and Kilco emerges. But I'm competitive, so I want to win. I am very competitive.
If you've done all you can,
the
result doesn't matter. And it's very easy for me to say that sitting on the sidelines, but it doesn't, mate. The fact that you've got in there, you are in that 1% of people.
Yeah. And I still don't like participation awards, which is what second place is. But like I said, there's very few variables that I'm leaving to chance, and the ones that are being left to chance, I ultimately can't control them. So, I don't have any concerns of what if I could have trained differently, or what if I could have done this, and what if I could have done that. It's just going to be it'll be a fair fight. One out of those two people in the ring won't think it was a fair matchup. I'm just hoping it's on me.
It'll be fair. Yeah. It's all that turns up on the night.
Yeah.
Prior to this, your training, obviously big in the gym. We did go through this. We don't need to go through it again, but it was more just to say, time off the weights, how's the body adjusted to the different style of training?
Yeah, definitely. I was talking to my PT about it this morning.
Who's your PT?
Shane at Lift Lab.
Shane at Lift Lab, major sponsor. Use the code KILCO, 10% off the first training session. Can you imagine people start going onto these websites? This code doesn't work, Brad. What's going on? I said, geez, we're just making this stuff up. We should do it use the code KILCO for 90% off. Brad's at it.
Yeah. But I was talking to him about it this morning where I can train weights 12 times a week and not be sore. But now I'm training twice a week and boxing 3 or 4 times a week, and now I'm like, why is this sore? I don't usually get
different
this.
muscles.
It's just a different training stimulus.
Yeah.
But like I said before, trying to adjust to it, because it's uncomfortable, right? I'm comfortable trying to move heavy weights. I'm comfortable with that, but some dude's trying to punch me and I'm trying to punch him in the face back. Now it's weird.
It's different. It's people's ability to handle being hit and composure.
Yeah.
I don't think I was talking to, I can't remember who I was talking to. I think I was talking to Mongy about it a while back. I've never seen someone go down and get up and win.
Mm-hmm.
You know how there's been a few knockdowns and things like that?
I have that.
So I'm not saying people can't handle the pressure, but it will be interesting, because I think it's just a matter of time before someone does get hit and then they find that other gear and get up. That's where the mental game comes into it.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's an interesting night. I love it. So, sacrifices that you've had to make. Obviously, you've got full-time work. You're a busy man. How have the family and friends gone when you've said, listen, I can't go to this, I can't do this, I'm just committed to training? Have they been supportive?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really hang out with them anyway. So it's we're friends, but we're not my friend circle. It's not like we're all going to the pub on Friday or anything like that. So we'll see each other when we see each other. Yeah. It's been supportive. They're kind of used to me hyper obsessing over something, and that being my entire personality for a couple of weeks. They know it will pass.
What have they said? What have the family and friends said about you doing this?
Yeah, all really supportive. I told one friend there was one point where I was really stressed at work, and I was like, I don't want to do this fucking thing. I'm gonna pull out. I have so much on my plate already. I don't want to do this. And then she was just like, I really didn't think you were. I didn't really take you for a quitter anymore. I'm like, fucking bitch. I knew you'd say that. Now I'm doing it.
Just to prove her wrong.
Yeah. But everyone's been really supportive. There's they're used to me going all. I was talking to some friends about it, and they were like, yeah, at first we were like, you've never boxed in your life, and then we all stopped and were like, yeah, but Brandon's got this different mindset about things though, right? Because the way I was talking to them about it, like, I have a plan, and I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing stuff that, like, you wouldn't even. It's not the immediate things that come to mind when you think of preparing for a boxing fight. And I'm documenting some of it on a very close friend's Instagram story of all the tools that I'm trying to implement and things like the music thing and all this stuff, just because it's interesting how the mind works. And they were both like, yeah, we actually historically betting against you has been a bad bet, so we're kind of on your side now. We know you approach things differently, so that was very supportive as well. Yeah, that's
great to have the support of them.
Yeah,
I suppose if you've got a template, if you can work out the template for life, that's good. Something that you can enforce, or something you can do with everything that will get you the best possible chance of success.
Yeah, like I've studied books on like how to learn and improve skills and stuff like that. So there's all these like meta skills of like learning in itself is a meta skill. So once you learn the meta skill of learning, you can just point it at other stuff. And so like things I've learned from like trying to build a business or trying to do the bodybuilding thing, I'm just going, that and that, use that over here.
How long did it take you to learn all that stuff?
I don't know how long we've been trying. Half a decade.
Need a cheat sheet. Need to get that through.
Yeah.
Mate, we've gone through the last of it already. Talking about your opponent, we don't know who's going to get the unlucky job of facing you in the ring. Your walkout music is delightful. And the nickname, one more time.
Kilco.
That is you to a T, mate. That's about it, mate. We just cracked the 2 hours.
Wow, really?
Yeah. Look at the time.
Oh, wow.
Jeez, we have been gas bagging for a while. Fuck. I know. Time flies when you're having fun, doesn't it?
Very talkative.
Anything else you want to add, mate?
Nah, I'm looking forward to things. Should be good.
Beautiful. Mate, listen, I want to thank you very much for giving up your Thursday to come in here and chat to me. 4.5 weeks away. Oh, it's probably not 4.5 weeks away. I can't do my maths today.
5.5.
5.5. That's what I said. I want to wish you all the best for the rest of the training. I'll see you tonight for the photos, and wish you all the best for the rest of the training campaign, and I cannot wait to see you in there on October 7.
Thank you.
Thanks for your time, mate. I'll chat to you soon.